Alright, in this video I want to talk about Wendigo cannibals. And you may be thinking, what in the world? Why do you want to talk about this? I'll explain. Just give me a second here. There was a fella who commented. I think his name is YouTube username anyway, is Kilroy911. This guy's a weird fella. I'm not gonna lie, he's probably watching this video, and I just gotta say, you sound like a crackhead in your comments. And most of your comments don't even have anything to do with the video that I presented, and you're just saying all kinds of weird nonsense. That's why I generally just ignore you or just remove your comments, because you're just a distraction, right? So, yeah. But he put one comment that I actually agree with. Because in the scriptures, it talks about how they eat the flesh of God's people. And a lot of people seem to take this as metaphoric. It's said actually a few times in the Old Testament about God's people being killed and eaten, right? And in 70 AD, when Jerusalem was sieged, it got to the point where they ate their own children and even each other, right? So, yeah, that's something you need to take into consideration here. These end times is going to be rough. It's related to a famine, like Joseph's time, where there's a 7-year famine, and Israel has to come to Joseph in Egypt to get food, right? That's a depiction of the last 7 years. You know, something another user who comments is New Moon Rapture, and he doesn't believe in the 7-year rapture. I mean, it's not 7-year rapture, 7-year tribulation, right? And it's actually told to us the first mention of this tribulation is with Joseph, with a 7-year famine, right? And then we have the covenant that is a week long, 7 days, a day for a year, right? So, yeah, and we have 2 periods of 3.5 years mentioned in Revelation, right? So, it's not as if it's not there, it's just that you're not paying attention, right? I'm sure there's some other mentions of it as well. But anyway, back to this here is the time on the earth is going to be insane. Very insane. Where people are going to become cannibals. And in the comment that the guy left, he said that they were going to be zombies. And I was like, it's the story of Wendigos. There's different versions of the Wendigo. But one of the version of a Wendigo, and some people, they put an I here instead. You know, they spell it differently. I'm not sure the proper spelling of Wendigo. But anyway, one version of the Wendigo is that it's this demonic creature. Another one is that it's a creature that is formed when a man or a woman resorts to cannibalism to survive. It changes them and turns them into this creature. And now they crave human flesh, and they actually go hunt for it, right? And I was like, you know what? There's some truth to this. Now, one of the crazy things that he said, which is something that I thought about before, is he was saying that there's a lot of obese people in America. And when this time comes, they're going to resort to cannibalism. And they're going to be changed by this, where it's going to be awful, right? And I was like, yeah, I can very much see that happening. And that's one of the things like I'm worried about, and I encourage family and friends to take care of themselves. Even if they don't believe in God, I still encourage them to take care of themselves, because if they're going to go through this time and they don't have any kind of self-control, especially when it comes to diet, and they're used to an abundance of food, and whenever they want to eat, they get to eat, and they get to eat as much as they want, and then all of a sudden they don't have any food whatsoever, they're not going to be able to handle it. And this right here, which you think you would never do, you're going to do. Especially when they find out people taste like pork. Right? Then they're really going to go after that. And all this may sound like just some kind of, I don't know, scare tactic, some weird entertainment video. But there's truth to this. And that's just the thing, is that when Lot was speaking to his sons-in-law about, hey, we need to leave Sodom because God's going to destroy it, it says that his sons-in-law thought he was just like mocking, like he was joking, right? And sometimes I think that's how people see it when I do a video like this. They're just like, oh, this is just some kind of satire or whatever, right? Until it happens. And when it happens, it's too late. Like, I'm not playing around. This is serious. I'm using something like a Wendigo as a metaphor of this, right? Because I also believe that with a lot of these stories of things like a Wendigo or a zombie, a werewolf, a vampire, that these are metaphors for different types of people. Not that these things are real, but they represent something, such as a vampire is a very good description of somebody who suffers from NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Because with a vampire, they can't look in the mirror, right? Because they can't see their reflection. They refuse to see themselves. They won't accept the truth about themselves. And they justify everything they do, but they condemn everything you do, even if it's the same exact thing, right? They're vampires because they feed off of your life, because they can't be alone. They need constant outside validation of themselves, right? And I could go into more detail about that, but just giving you a brief little look at a vampire, this creature is actually a depiction of a type of person. The same thing with a werewolf. A person who is just like any of us, but at the drop of a hat, a certain change in the atmosphere, they become a beast, unruly, where maybe they're super lustful to the point where it's a big problem, or even goes to some version of rape, or they're very violent, right? Just at a drop of a hat. A werewolf is a depiction of a type of person. The same thing with zombie. Somebody who is dead. There's nothing there, and they're just going through life on autopilot. And then anybody who has life around them, they want to devour their brain so that they become a lifeless zombie as well. Right? See how these depictions of stories are parables, are metaphors for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear of certain types of people. So, something to take into consideration here. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and if you enjoyed the video and the other content I put out there, please pray to our Heavenly Father that He keeps this all going. And He puts a hedge of protection around us and provides for us and makes us bold and strong in His name until He comes and gets us. And if you want to help me out some more, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share the video, share the channel, interact in the comments section. And if you're a cheerful giver, there's 4 ways you can donate to the channel if you so choose. With all that being said, thank you again for watching. I'll see you very soon in the next one.